Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Apocryphal Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Wednesday Apocryphal and podcast. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering the Holy Book of the Great Invisible Spirit. Chapters or
58
sections
through 58.
Yeah, 58 through 58, kind of. Here,
you read that title right.
Here is the thing about it looks like it's going backwards,
And
which it kind of is, and.
Because it literally is.
Yeah, so Codex 3 resumes with page 49. So essentially, we're going to get through the rest of Codex 4, through Codex 4's version, and then go back to Codex 3, which contains the rest of this. I don't know why or how.
There are two garbage versions of this.
Yeah, I suppose. And that is how that came in through textual tradition.
Yep.
It was just the dumbest way possible, honestly.
Absolutely.
So
it's almost as if we should abandon this chapter and naming convention for these books.
Well, the thing is, what we kind of need is at least
an
actual chapter kind of thing, because these are just pages and tractates, right?
You can have like a tractate reference, but you can also separately have like an internal book, like chapter 1, verse 1.
Yes, that would be nice. That would have been nice for a good amount of the stuff from Nag Hammadi.
Yes.
Because most of it doesn't have that, it seems.
Nope.
Which is unfortunate. I wish they kind of did that. Like, here's the thing.
It's been a while since we've seen Matthew.
This is a different Matthew.
It's a different Matthew?
Yeah. Because the other Matthew was like Matthew Sansbury or something.
Oh, shoot. This is a different Matthew.
Yeah. Either way, hello, Matthew. And also, let's see who else in chat. Satan and unapologetically Chrissy. Also, Ryan's here. Good seeing you, Ryan.
Yes.
Oh, and look at that. Becoming a member. Huge.
Yes, absolutely huge.
And one of these days, that means you're going to get to... do we still have the graphic for all the different tiers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's yawning, just so you guys know what that noise is.
That was a yes yawn, but
it's
not
Chris being possessed by a ghost or
no, that was
like that.
the other day.
Nah, yeah.
There are no ghosts around. I ate them.
You know, ever since our demon summoning video...
Yeah, Chris
Things have been going awry all around the studio.
Yeah, right.
That's really to say that for the entire history of the channel.
Here's those things. You can get them.
Yeah, you can. After a while, you can reach that ascended calf.
A while, like years.
Yeah, isn't that great? So one of these days, you're gonna get there.
Yes.
And if anyone else in chat wants those and they're not already a member, consider becoming one, because those are pretty dope.
Yes. Anyways, what are you reading out of? What are we reading out
of? The Nag Hammadi Scriptures, the revised and updated translation of sacred Gnostic texts, complete in one volume.
Edited by Marvin Mayer.
Yes, and this section, this one was by Mayer, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think this section was, it was introduced by John Turner, but it was translated by Marvin Mayer.
Yes.
So, here's the thing. We... imposed chapters and verses onto the actual Bible, right?
Yes.
And people have just kind of become okay with that. Now, granted, it was like super early, but still, people have become okay with that, right?
1,000 years from now, it's going to be super early now.
True. But either way, I think it's about time that we gave these things proper chapters.
So we're starting it here with chapter 1, verse 1.
Wow.
And it starts at the beginning in chapter 16.
You know what's really funny?
Incredible.
If at some point in the future I do some big study on this, and if I am the main study to go to on these texts, I could potentially just force that.
You should. In fact, I'll do it for you. And you can say it was edited by me and you can take credit.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But either way, I think, let's hop into this. So we're still technically on Tractate 4, and it goes, let's see, once we get through Tractate let's see, it goes to 460, and then it goes from 460. So Tractate 4, page 60, and then it jumps to Tractate 3, page 50, or page 49, I should say. So
we are
so we're starting
skipping
here.
a bunch of stuff.
No, we're not actually skipping anything. We're just going back in the actual manuscripts.
Yes.
But luckily it's all here.
We're skipping stuff because it's not extant in the manuscript.
Or so there's something up with it.
There's something.
The only explanation that the Codex 3 version resumes with page 49. That's all that it says there.
Well,
but here you go. Here's some stuff on divine emanation.
Now let me tell you all about divine emanation. An emanation appeared in silence with the living silence of the Spirit, the Father's word, and light. 59.
Yeah, there we go.
She, the 5 seals, which the Father brought forth from within, and she passed through all the eternal realms already mentioned. She established glorious thrones and myriads of angels without number around them, powers and incorruptible glories, and they all sang songs, gave glory, and offered praise with one voice, with one accord, with a sound that is never silent. 2. The Father, the Mother, the Child, all the fullness already mentioned, that is, the great Christ who came from silence, who is the incorruptible child, Telmael, Telmakael, Eli, Eli, Makar, Makar, Seth, the power that truly lives, and the male virgin with him, Yoel, and Esaphach, master of glory, and child of the child, and the crown of its glory of the 5 seals, the fullness already mentioned.
So the fullness being the pleroma.
Yes.
And now it's kind of making sense to me that the logos would come from the divine silence, right? Because where else would it come from?
Nothing.
Where else would the word come from? It comes from silence. Like if I start talking, it's after I was silent. That's about it. Or if I become silent, it was after I was talking, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
60. The great living self-generated word appeared, the true God, the unborn nature, whose name I utter by saying,
Can I please see what you are looking at?
Oh, it's I'll so.
It's
Yeah, it's Aya, textual break. Thaothos.
Yeah.
textual break.
Textual break, yeah. Thaoth-ost. Yes, that's what that is.
Hooray.
Man, this wild. It's wild. That's nowhere near as bad as last week, though.
There's a lot of lines here, like and like Telmael, Telmakel, Eli, Makar, Seth.
See, okay, so were those presented as like names, as personal pronouns?
Yes.
They were? Okay.
I think.
You think?
It's just a line.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, so this looks like it's another being, right? Because this is all of the people, all of the beings that have songs sung towards them. Father, Mother, Child, Fullness, Christ, who came from silence, who is the incorruptible child. And then, yeah, Telmael, Telmakael, Eli, Makar, Seth, yeah. So it looks like that might just be like a big-ass title. But I have no idea what that means. But it looks like it's a big-ass title.
We got to change your name in the Discord
To
Telmael, Telmakael, Eli, Makar, Lawrence.
Oh, okay. Would you do the same thing but with Ruben at the end?
Maybe.
Okay, Chris, would you do it but with Chris at the end?
No, my name's already too long.
This one's longer.
Way longer.
It's okay.
He doesn't
I
want
Thoth, child of the great Christ, child of ineffable silence, who came from the great invisible incorruptible spirit. The child of silence appeared with silence invisible, hidden, and the treasures of its glory. There's a lot of textual breaks. Silence break, invisible break.
Okay,
hidden
gotcha.
Break.
Wow.
It appeared in the visible break and established 4 eternal realms. Through the word, it established them. The word offered praise to the great invisible virgin spirit, the silence of the Father, in silence of the living silence of silence,
Jesus
where humanity rests. Textual break.
This is it was already confusing, but now it's getting more confusing.
It would be like if every other word was missing from like a song.
True.
Yes.
With occasionally every other word missing as well.
Oh, great. And I feel like the confusion is not just in the textual breaks. Now, certainly that does make it worse.
Oh boy.
Yes. There's also like the silence of the Father and the silence of the living silence of silence.
No, that's not. There's no textual breaks in there, is there?
No.
Yeah. See,
That's
so
just as bad, but no breaks.
okay. So you, Ruben, you have a degree in philosophy. What is this?
It's the silence.
Okay.
In order for me to provide an answer to you that would be sufficient, I would just have to not speak.
Oh, right. Of course.
Let's try analyzing this one more time. What's the first line? The somebody silence?
Well, the silence of the Father.
Okay.
So,
We got silence of the Father.
In silence.
all right.
The Father
of
being
the
in
living silence of silence.
All right. So silence, the top one,
Jeez.
has a living aspect to itself called living silence. And of that living silence, there's another level.
No, there. So there,
It's in a location called silence, and there as well is the Father silence.
it doesn't have to be in a location, right? Because you know how people can say like in Christ. That's not like in a location.
Okay, but it's a person location like we've had in this whole thing.
Well, in this case,
Silence the heaven, the location, but is a person.
It is
And-
called where
Mhm.
humanity rests.
Sure. Okay.
It is a location.
Yes, but it's a. Okay, so it's 4 tiers of people.
No.
Silence
Because,
being the top tier.
no. There was silence because silence is said to have the Father, right? It's Father.
No,
where
that's
it
the
came
bottom. You're starting at the bottom. Start at the top. Silence has a living
Are you talking about like a descendant?
body or whatever, right?
No,
It
there,
says,
there is silence.
Yeah. Okay,
Then
that's the-
there's the living silence of silence.
uh-huh.
Then there's in silence of the living silence of silence.
All right, I don't know anymore.
And
Okay.
then there's the silence of the Father in silence of the living silence of silence.
Could be a title. Maybe these are just titles.
Oh boy. All right. Well, the thing is, it does have some kind of hierarchy, right?
That's how I felt.
But from that first line before, I thought that like it, it was they were all they were all descendants of the Father is the thing.
The silence of the Father
Yes.
in silence of the living silence of silence.
Silence of the living silence
Of silence.
of silence.
I have it literally in verse.
Okay.
but-
Yeah. So so the Father would still be like the progenitor, and then the rest would be
I
the
feel
thing
like it's the
that
other way
came
around.
from
but-
No. It's the silence of the Father
right. Yeah.
in silence.
If you are of the Father,
of the living silence of silence.
All right, I
Okay.
give up. That was fun. Thanks for trying.
Anyways, we're on to Tractate 3.
right. Yeah.
49.
Oh boy.
Okay. All right.
Listening to smart people debate old text makes me giggle. You know what? This is not. We can't really do much. We
39 or 49?
49.
49, sorry. Okay.
yeah. This has
Furthermore, not only can we not do much, even if we had the original language, like a perfectly preserved manuscript in front of us,
sure.
which we could read and we're fluent in.
Presuming we
This was
can.
like analyzed like a
like redundant nonsense.
maybe,
in the
but
text
it could
originally.
also just be a programming like thing if we looked at it like a language or
Right.
object-oriented language kind of structure.
where it refers back to itself.
We would have issues where we have objects that are poorly defined and we couldn't get it to solve because There could be things where silence means something very distinctly different for many of these things, but we would have no idea.
Sure.
And there could also be this could be literally a saying or like a play on words that we can't get.
My guess is that some of these should have been taken adjectively.
Maybe. Exactly.
Where like you have like a quiet silence or something like that. Where it is redundant, but that's the adjectival usage.
No, there's the silence of the Father, which is noun, right? It has to be because we're referring to that silence.
Right, yeah. So you have the silence. But remember, being of the Father means that you came from the Father. That's what silence of the Father means.
In silence.
So is it saying that the silence
in the location
of the Father is in silence, or that the Father is in silence?
Oh, we got to move on, guys. We got like how many hours to read? Still,
of the living silence of silence.
I mean, yes, Simone. Obviously, it does require some external, something external for understanding. Sure. But the thing is, there might be some pieces here that we could use to reconstruct at least a semblance of a theology.
We're trying.
Like at least like a framework of it.
Silence is like the absolute like Platonic silence, like the form of silence.
One of them is definitely.
Right. And then the living silence of silence would have to be like the manifest world.
The manifestation of silence. Okay, sure.
That participates in the form. In silence of the living silence. So this is the particular property of the silence that is manifesting itself by virtue of participation in the form of silence.
Yeah.
No. So what I'm thinking is that silence, that last one there, is instead the refusal of so it's not just the physical silence, right? Like if someone's not talking, it's just that's one kind of silence. But then the other one might refer to like the specific non-acknowledgement of some kind of higher truth.
Right.
Even if you are quiet.
There is objective silence, and then there is you being silent about something or for a purpose.
Right, yeah.
So, anyways.
We cracked it. There you go.
We're
See?
on 49.
See, Simone, we got this. All right? We got it. All right, everything's cool. Where's my alcohol?
Okay. Then there came forth from that place the cloud of great light, living power, the mother of the holy incorruptible ones, the great power, Mirothea. The text reads Mirotho. Mirothea is a Sethian name or an epithet for the divine in several texts. The meaning is uncertain, but it may mean divine destiny from Greek moirotheos.
Sure.
See,
Theo would be divine.
Yeah, Moira.
Moira is that? Yeah, that's the fates.
Yeah,
they use Moira, which, by the way, it is destiny, right? It's not like it's not like the way that's usually portrayed in like Hercules, for example, right, where they're like weaving it out. It probably comes from a Proto-Indo-European word meaning like to dole out, to share, to like a portion, right? So they are in the same way that biblical usage has like everyone has their lot, right? Everyone is given their share by the Moira.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or it could mean divine anointed one from Greek Mirotheos. Mirothea is feminine in form. Mirotheos is masculine. Here, Mirothea denotes the mother of Adamas. Yes, we're going to get Adamas shortly. So be prepared, Lawrence.
Okay, sure.
She gave birth to the one whose name I utter by saying, "You are one, you are one, you are one, Ea, Ea, Ea."
Yeah, so this is, there's also like the verbal form, myromai, so to receive one is portion or due.
Mm-hmm.
It's also in the perfect, but this is not a perfect. It's also not a passive. Okay, but yeah.
Okay, you are one, you are one, you are one, Ea, Ea, Ea. The utterances from the Codex 4 version. Ea, Ea, Ea may represent the Greek Ea, Ea, Ea. You are one, you are one, you are one. The Codex 3 version reads Ayin, Ayin, Ea, Ea, Ea 3 times. Ayin may be Greek Ihen, Ihen.
Okay, yeah.
You are one, you are one. E, epsilon, and A, alpha, may also be taken as numbers. 05, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1. The following lines are from Codex 4, 61. And then Codex 3 resumes.
Can you show me the thing where it says Ea? Where's that? Oh, I see. Okay. So let's see if it's an exclamation, apparently, of surprise or displeasure.
What?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh.
Especially before a question.
No.
That is at least what the lexicon says. Because the other option is like AO, which is just no, that's not it.
No,
that's a verbal form.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. This is Adamas, light that has radiated from light, the eye of the light, the first human being. This is where Codex 3 resumes.
Great. Okay.
Through whom and to whom is everything, without whom is nothing. The unknowable, incomprehensible Father came forth and descended from above to undo the deficiency. The great divine self-generated Word and the incorruptible human Adamas joined with each other, and the human power of the Word was produced. So humanity came into being through the Word. This human power of the Word offered praise to the great invisible incomprehensible virgin spirit, the male virgin Barbelo, the triple male child, the male virgin Yoel, Esaphac, master of glory and child of the child, the crown of its glory, the great realm of Doxamedon, the thrones in it, the powers around it, glories, incorruptions, and all their fullness, already mentioned, the ethereal earth, receiving God, where holy people of the great light take shape, people of the Father of the silent living silence, the Father and all their fullness, already mentioned.
So, you know what this reminds me of? You know how in Tibetan Buddhism, they have that tree
Yes.
that you have to visualize, and it's filled with all those Buddhas? So, but the thing is, it's always presented as like a lineage, right? Like the one that taught you, the one that taught
Because
them.
they take lineage very seriously in the Tibetan tradition.
Yeah. So it kind of reminds me of that. They're just creating this higher and higher. I mean, it is a hierarchy, right? But this higher and higher cosmology, essentially, where they're describing like things by themselves, and as they were separated from non-things, and then it kind of goes down the line to be like, well, here are the things that define things, and then they start the definitive things, and it gets more and more detailed.
But they're also being kind of lazy about it. It's not like the Bible. In the Bible, we would have had like full repetitions of things. Here, they're all like already mentioned. In this part alone, in 50, which we're in 50, by the way. In this part alone, it says, glories, incorruptions, and all their fullness, already mentioned, from ethereal earth, receiving God, where the holy people of the great light take shape, people of the Father of the living silence, the Father in all their fullness, already mentioned.
Yeah.
So they have this phrase that keeps...
Some of it is already mentioned.
I think that this phrase also popped up in the previous section. They say, this is already mentioned.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that in the Bible at all. They just say it
wouldn't
again.
Yeah.
That is true. They would just say it again.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And lo, Lawrence believed that they would just say it again, and thus he said, I believe that they would just say it again.
Right.
He did.
As was already mentioned.
As it was written.
Yes.
As it is written, yeah. Classic.
Anyways, I'm going to hand it off to you for the 4 eternal realms, Seth, and 4 luminaries, and I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good. 4 eternal realms, Seth, 4 luminaries. Now, these ones were mentioned before, I think. When they were listing off some of these things that the power created, right? They listed there were 4 of them. So I think these might be it, but let's find out. Could be wrong. The great divine self-generated word and the incorruptible human Adamas offered praise. They requested power and eternal strength for the self-generated, so that 4 eternal realms may be fully completed, and through them there may appear the glory and power of the invisible Father of the holy people, of the great light coming into the world. The world resembles the night. The world resembles the night. Not quite sure what that means.
It's dark out there.
Well, I know that it's dark, but is that all they're saying?
Most
is that
of it is dark.
Oh yeah, I guess if the light is coming into the world and it hasn't entered yet, that means that it is dark. That's
Throwing it out there.
yeah, weird way of putting that though.
More phrasing, as per usual.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but also it strikes me right because it's one of the people, one of the beings that is offering, praise is also requesting. It says. So think about it this way: the self-generated word requested power and eternal strength for the self-generated. So the word is requesting power, essentially, for itself. But Adamas is also like, hey, yeah, could you help with that? But either way, yeah, light is not entered yet, but you have 4 realms, and this is how you complete them. Then the incorruptible human, Adamas, requested that a child come from himself, so that the child may be father of the immovable, incorruptible generation. And through this generation, silence and speech may appear, and through it the dead realm may rise and then fade away. I mean, thoughts on that?
Yeah, that sounds like the demiurge, the child of this guy, and he's going to bring a temporary world into being.
It sounds like the human version of it.
Or something.
Yeah.
Like it.
Well, keep in mind that we're talking about the offspring of Adamas and the child, right? They joined together to give human form to the child, and at the end of the previous section.
Well,
that's what this is about.
Sure.
Right? And so they're continuing with that idea, right?
I mean, kind of. I'm not entirely sure. I guess they are. We'll see what else is mentioned here, because it looks like other beings are mentioned.
Okay.
So the power of the great light came from above. She was revelation, and she gave birth to 4 great luminaries. So it looks like prophania. Yeah, okay, sure. Is the word that's used there. And these 4 great luminaries also are in the secret book of John, which we did cover.
Yes.
And there's a Harmazel, Horoyel, Devaeth, and Elelith.
Yes.
Which I remember Elelith popping up.
Yes, we have had that pop up in this before.
Yeah. Along with great incorruptible Seth, son of the incorruptible human Adamas. And so was completed the perfect realm of 7, which exists in hidden mysteries.
Okay, so they have the line of Seth is given its own special status by virtue of Seth being the offspring of the child and Adam, right?
Yeah.
That's the basic idea. I guess they're going with that.
I suppose, yeah. So it looks like in order for there to be Seth, I guess, there had to be, because it does look like this is more of a self-generation thing, but this time the power is transferred over to Adamas, it seems.
Right. It's joined
through the
into-
revelation. So I think that's what is essentially happening. But then because of that, because we mentioned that they needed these realms to be created as well.
Yeah, this crypto Muslim guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's our new Christ brings a sword.
Oh, true. That's a good point. Okay.
Yeah.
But although if he becomes anything like Christ brings a
bye-bye.
sword. Yeah.
Don't talk about how you're glad that people died so that you
Right.
could learn more about God.
Right. Yeah. Don't be happy about a bunch of people dying and you'll be okay.
Mhm.
Probably. We'll see what other crazy stuff you say.
Have you gone to the Discord yet?
Yeah. We still want you to write that. What was it? The right where Ahikar becomes a Muslim.
Yeah, you can write that one.
Yeah.
A sub for over 5 years, and now you're a Muslim.
Interesting.
I don't know how that happened. What possibly that we produced?
No, it's probably nothing we produced because some people just subscribe but then never watch anything. Like
we were
most
posted
of
on
chat.
No. Like 5 years ago, we were posted on that one Muslim website. Remember, because they were doing things about the Trinity.
That's right. Yeah. Was that 5 years ago now?
I think it was the Trinity video, man.
I remember the Trinity. Yeah,
4 years ago.
but I don't.
That's gotta be like it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Long time.
Must have been.
By the way, have you seen that Aaron Ra fan fiction? Fan fiction that is on our Discord.
I've seen a lot of the art that these degenerates make.
Okay.
Oh,
Good degeneracy.
I have a special surprise for you.
wait, did a viewer of ours write this?
I think so.
Okay, I must have just missed it.
Yeah, this was posted by Eric Wander.
Oh, okay, sure.
Aaron Ra, the snake. It's spelled Aaron here. Okay.
Okay.
Aaron Ra, the snake man, looked at the tiny glass in his hands and felt irritable. He walked over to the window and reflected on his ugly surroundings. He had always hated the insane land of ignorance, a.k.a. Texas, with its stinky, sticky streets. It was a place that encouraged his tendency to feel irritable. Then he saw something in the distance, or rather someone. It was the figure of Kent Hovind, inmate 06453-017. Kent was a deranged coward with huge biceps, and his ass was full of body hair. Aaron Ra gulped. He glanced at his own reflection. He was an adorable, violent creationist tears drinker with strong biceps and elastic ass. His friends saw him as an oily, odd overlord. Once, he had even brought an outrageous little baby snake back from the brink of death. But not even an adorable person who had once brought an outrageous little baby snake back from the brink of death was prepared for what Kent Hovind had in store today. The hail pounded like mind-bending dogs, making Aaron Ra unstable. As Aaron Ra stepped outside and Kent Hovind came closer, he could see the elated glint in his eye. I am here because I want to show that evolution is a lie, Kent Hovind bellowed in a clumsy tone. He slammed his fist against Aaron Ra's chest with the force of 3,435 giraffes. I friggin' hate you, Aaron Ra the Snake Man. Aaron Ra looked back, even more unstable, and still fingering the tiny glass. Kent Hovind, I pity the fool, he replied. That's pity with 2 T's. They looked at each other with sleepy feelings, like two bulbous, breezy badgers suffocating at a very articulate accident party, which had heavy metal music playing in the background and 2 stupid uncles pooping to the beat.
Wow.
Suddenly, Kent Hovind lunged forward and tried to punch Aaron Ra in the face. Quickly, Aaron Ra grabbed the tiny glass and brought it down on Kent Hovind's skull. Kent Hovind's huge biceps trembled and his ass full of body hair wobbled. He looked puzzled, his body raw like a faithful, flaky flip-flop. Then he let out an agonizing groan and collapsed on the ground. Minutes later, Kent Hovind, inmate 06453-017, was dead. Aaron Ra, the Snake Man, went back inside and made himself a nice drink of creationist tears. The end.
Wow, incredible.
our
Thank you,
fanfic.
Eric. Also,
Now public.
also just to address it, ChatGPT is often wrong.
It is.
It is
I am
very
not confident that Eric wrote that personally. It may have been a Mad Lib.
It may have been. That may have been an AI to do that one.
It may have been.
I don't know. But either way, thank you for that, Eric. But yeah, ChatGPT is often wrong. In fact, one of our first assignments in last semester, I was doing a class on like essentially the time period of Alexander the Great. One of the very first assignments was, here is a paper written by ChatGPT. It is very wrong. Correct it. So essentially that was the thing. Either we had to go over like all the stuff that it got wrong and correct it in places, expand on it, or find citations in like primary documents for it. But ChatGPT is often wrong. And the thing is, by the way, so is Google.
Yes.
Google is it helps with stuff, but it shouldn't be used to just go find the right answer, because most things are not just Googleable.
Also, most news websites are not that accurate.
Right, yeah. So you actually have to do some research on these things.
Ask Jeeves or something.
Shut up.
No, he's a person at this point, 'cause the site's gone. You have to
go find Jeeves.
That's firsthand research.
Have you ever tried to read like science news?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
I mean,
yeah, that's why the best thing you can actually do for science news is go read the papers.
Yeah, that's what I do. I always end up going, this looked hyped. Okay, go read paper. No.
Right, yeah, you need to actually read the primary source material.
The only reason
it's never
that you
easy.
should ever click on a science article is to click the link to the original
I agree.
paper.
That's it. Yeah,
He's not wrong. At this point, maybe at one point it wasn't all hype, like in 2011.
Well,
or something.
still then, because pop science has always kind of been like an issue for me.
Yeah, but it also used to be a magazine with like legit science in it.
Well, I think you were referencing like the more broader. Were you referencing the more broader thing? Or were you referencing science?
The more broad.
Yeah,
science.
But either way, yeah, ChatGPT often wrong. So is Google.
Series broken.
They
you
don't
actually
always
need to find sources.
Link the so I think this was an MSNBC thing. Like I was in an article. They linked to the article, and it linked to another article on the same website about it.
Shit like that.
And that one linked to another article on the same website about it, and then I found a link to the actual article.
Chris, do you remember when we were doing design flaws?
Yeah.
And there was a website that we were talking about.
Aliens?
It was about aliens. And here's the thing. Jesus Christ. Okay. Here's the thing about the aliens, right? On this website, like, we know it's already a crazy website.
Well, I don't know.
But hold on.
It had an M in it.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Like in MSN, I don't know, NBC.
Whatever. Either way. All right. Alien stuff. So we were looking into it. And
I'll just say it real fast. It was a circle jerk link where every link would lead to the same different websites in a loop.
Yes. Yes, and it was crazy. It's like the only citation was itself. And I'm like, you can't do that. And they would say hilarious things like, it has been said that this alien looks like this. And it's like, who? Who is saying these things?
Well, you see on another part of the website, it says that.
Right, yeah, of course.
Anyways, let's keep reading the holy book of the great invisible spirit.
Yes, that's a good idea. So yeah, these luminaries are created. And then, so was completed the perfect realm of 7, which exists in hidden mysteries. When it, now we're to 52.
What? We skipped one? Or I didn't skip 51, whatever.
Yeah, okay, I might have just forgotten to tell you that. All right, so on to 52. When it receives glory, it becomes 11 realms of 8.
Oh, of course.
So 88, all right. And now we're to the next section. I'd like to hear more about those other ones, but okay. So this next section, partners and attendants for the luminaries. Ooh. The Father nodded approval, and the entire fullness of the luminaries agreed. Partners for the luminaries appeared to complete the realm of 8 of divine self-generated. Grace for the first luminary, Harmazel. Perception for the second luminary, Oriel. Intelligence for the third luminary, Devaeth. Understanding for the fourth luminary, Lilith.
We've had similar lists of virtues that are assigned to particular named characters in Gnostic works before.
True, but now they're being mated.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them that they are actually forced into this life. This is the first realm of 8 of the divine self-generated. Ooh, this is kind of like how a lot of Ogdoads are created. They just have like, here's a list of 4 gods. We need to give them all sex partners. And then they give them a sex partner. And there's like, oh, now we have 8. So that's often how this happens.
Yep.
The father nodded approval, and the entire fullness of the luminaries agreed. The attendants appeared. First, Great Gamaliel. For the first great luminary, Harmazel. Great Gabriel. For the second great luminary, Orathel. Great Samblo. So here the Codex 4 version reads Samblo. And the Codex 3 version reads Samlo.
Okay.
For the great luminary Devaeth. Great Abraxas. For the great luminary Aleleth. So now we're on to 53, but there is a note here on Abraxas. Abraxas here and below is the name of a cosmic power in several traditions. We have talked about Abraxas in a couple other texts, at least one. Including Gnostic traditions, the numerical value of the name Abraxas in Greek is 365, and thus it corresponds to the number of days in the solar year. The name Abraxas may come from the Hebrew Arba, 4, for the Tetragrammaton or 4-letter name of God, Yahweh. Sabaoth, hosts, armies, shortened in the name, and thus Abraxas may reflect the meaning Lord of Hosts. So that is interesting to know. Also, best to not engage with.
No, you should
arguments
actively
like that.
engage because it increases our viewer engagement, which increases our viewership.
I guess, but don't
You should push as many buttons as you feel like pushing, including those ones.
whatever, man. Just dealing with people who don't get it is
Yep, those ones right there.
All right. Very well done. Thank you.
Got the buttons pushing.
To me, it's just not worth it after a while.
Man, I push buttons either way.
That's
It's not
true.
a big deal.
What is worth it to you, Lawrence?
A good amount of stuff. I read all this. That's worth it to me.
But you didn't read all the Qurans.
No, not yet. All the Qurans, all of them.
Well, I mean, we read all the Bibles.
We did not read all the Bibles.
I mean, we kind of did.
We read a good chunk of them. Not even a good chunk, actually. We read like
Mostly
very
the
small
KJV
percentage.
and ESV and some other ones.
Yeah, we read up to 5 or 6, maybe. If you want to include some commentaries, we read like some personal translations.
And it's all the same anyway, with minor grammatical differences.
Well, yeah,
and
the thing is,
occasional missing verse.
All right, so something like that, right?
Yeah. Except that one bit in Isaiah where it says that God creates evil. I looked into it. The Hebrew term that's used there does indeed refer to evil. So all of those translations that you see that don't say that he creates evil, it's like, oh, I create misfortune.
I create misfortune.
Yeah. No, all those translations.
You've seen my videos.
They're just wrong. The term refers to a bad thing. Like, that's what it means. Something that is bad.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect for this show.
Yeah.
Either way, here partners for the attendants appeared by the will and good pleasure of the Father. So now we have one Ogdoad, and then then a whole other Ogdoad coming up that is made to attend to this greater one. And for this one, we have memory for the first great Gabriel, love for the second. For the first great Gamaliel, love for the second great Gabriel, peace for the third great Samblo. Okay, yeah, sure. Life eternal for the fourth great Abraxas. Thus were the 5 realms of 8 completed, 40 in all, as inexplicable power. The self-generated word and the expression of the fullness of the 4 luminaries offered praise to, and here's a list. So they offer praise to the great invisible, unnameable virgin spirit, the male virgin, the great realm of Duxamedon, which, by the way, that comes from Greek doxe, which is glory.
Mm-hmm.
The thrones in them. So yeah, the thrones in them. The powers around them. Glories, authorities, and powers. The triple male child. The male virgin Uel. Espec. Master. Now we're on to 54.
Nope, we skipped one again. Okay.
Did I forget to tell you
You
that?
never tell me these. We're just doing the even ones.
Oh, I think I did. I did say 53.
Didn't hear it.
Okay. Well, either way, yeah. So we were on 53. But yes. So Espec, Master of Glory and Child of the Child, the crown of its glory, and the fullness, all the glories that are there, the infinite fullnesses and the unnameable realms.
Now, this list is almost a perfect reversal of the previous one that we got a couple pages back.
True, yeah. That they may call upon the Father as the fourth, along with the incorruptible generation, and call the seed of the Father the seed of great Seth. So it looks, let's see. Yeah, the meaning of the fourth is uncertain. The Codex 3 version originally read the 74th, and this reading was corrected to the present reading. Perhaps you can cross-reference the trinities or divine triads of the Holy Book, of this Holy Book, with the present Father as the fourth after a trinity. Also note Heracleon's commentary on John 16 on the Valentinian concept of 4 and 4 and the realm of 4 or tetrad. All right. Also see the secret book of James 12 on a fourth one in heaven. See, this is something I actually want to kind of just, what is this? Dog ear? Want to do that? Because there is... Right, I know, it's crazy. Because that stuff actually sounds cool.
Witch.
What? Witch? I'm a witch?
Burn him.
Nice. Been waiting for that one.
Dog-earing a book.
Right, yeah. New Messiah Lawrence just dropped. Okay, I'll have to look at that after the show. So, continuing on. And then after this section, I'll hand it off to you. Okay. So this is the luminaries are enthroned. Then everything shook, and the incorruptible ones trembled. The triple male child came down from above to those unborn and self-generated, and to those conceived in the realm of birth. Does that sound like this realm? Sounds like this realm, but they're still like the self-generated ones. They're still the ones that aren't born.
Right.
But it still sounds like this realm.
Well, they're conceived.
Right, yeah, sure.
They're not self-generated.
Well, it says that the triple male child came down from above to those unborn and self-generated, and to those conceived in the realm of birth. Okay, so yeah, sorry, two different groups.
Yeah,
sorry,
two different groups.
The majesty appeared, all the majesty of the great Christ, and established thrones of glory, myriads without number, in the four realms around them, myriads without number, powers and glories, and incorruptions. They came forth in this way. Yeah, I guess him just showing up.
Mm.
The incorruptible spiritual assembly expanded within the four luminaries of the great living self-generated God of truth. They praised, sang, and gave glory with one voice, with one accord, with a mouth that is not silent. With a mouth that's not silent. Perfect, right? Because we were talking about silence before. Mm-hmm. So this one's not silent, probably in whichever way, in the best way of being not silent. So they're praising here. To the Father, the Mother, the Child, and all their fullness already mentioned, the five seals of the myriads, the rulers over the realms, and the couriers of the glory of the governors were ordered to appear to those who are worthy. Amen. And now I'm going to hand it off to you. But it seems
55, right?
Now we are. We went. Oh yeah, sorry. We actually did hit 55. That's my bad. We're still on 55. Don't worry. These numbers, I'm kind of missing them. They're like in the middle of lines and stuff.
We're on 55.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you about 55. Great Seth son of the incorruptible human Adamas, offered praise to the great invisible unnamed unspeakable virgin spirit, the male virgin, the triple male child, the male virgin Yoel, Asapek, master of glory, the crown of its glory, and the child of the child. 56. The great realms of Doxamidon and the fullness already mentioned. Seth asked for his seed. Then Plesitheia came from that place. The name Plesitheia may mean full goddess or nearby goddess. That's all we have on it.
Fair enough.
Then Plesitheia came from that place, the great power of great light, mother of the angels, mother of the luminaries, glorious mother, virgin with 4 breasts, bearing fruit from the wellspring of Gomorrah and Sodom, fruit of the wellspring of Gomorrah within her.
So that's obviously stuff for Sumami to work with there. The 4 breasts.
You look at the stories of Sodom and Gomorrah, it's not like a derivative thing. What they're doing, you can check here in other Gnostic texts, e.g. the paraphrase of Shem.
I don't think we
Sodom
read
and
that one.
Gomorrah can be considered to be locales inhabited by Gnostics who are persecuted by the ruler of this world.
Of course. Classic.
Because it would be Eldabaoth in the story who punishes Sodom, right?
Sure. Yeah. In their theology. True.
Yeah.
Also, this argument, I hope you know that this argument's bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the argument that for Islam that this guy's making, it's not special to memorize a book, dude. Like if your culture makes it explicitly clear that it is a priority to memorize this book, is it a shocker that so many people memorize the book?
Not a surprise.
Even then, people don't perfectly memorize the book either.
Also,
There's
they don't,
tons
right?
of
Which is why they
changes
correct
over
each other all the time.
Yeah, they
too.
correct each other. There's also corrections in Quranic manuscripts.
It's very nice that you have an over-venerated book,
Right.
bro.
Also that, the fact that it was standardized very early on, but they're
through the Uthmanic redaction.
Yeah,
which was a redaction effort.
Right, yeah. But either way, like when it comes to Muhammad like producing something, I don't like if he's illiterate, he can still speak, first of all. So you can give quote unquote revelation through oration. That was actually a very common practice. A good amount of Paul's letters were written through oration.
And in fact, in the region, it was common for pagans to deliver their revelations in the form of oral poetry, like the Quran.
Right, yeah. So like this is a product of its time where of course someone wrote it down, surely, and it probably wasn't Muhammad who wrote it down, but he was working off of the culture and the things that he already believed, like at least a good chunk of like the Old Testament stuff, right? Like because he does mention like Adam and Eve and Noah, right? Like you still get like a good amount of that story in there. So like it's still Abrahamic in nature.
They have different names.
Well, sure, yeah, they have their Arabic names, right? Yeah, but the characters are still there. Like it's not. This is not like a shocker.
In fact, they'll tell the same story over multiple times.
Plus, let's not get into the scientific stuff.
We don't want to get into the scientific
That's going to take way too long.
But even if we were to grant all
Quote,
of
unquote.
that, book contains unexplained scientific predictions. It's the only book in the world that anyone can memorize. How does that make the claims that it makes about your right to sexual molestation of women who are property of your right hand?
Oh, yeah, there's that, yeah.
How does it make that true? Because I don't see how the truth claim is contingent on any of those factors. It just is completely separate. It's completely meaningless. It doesn't address anything actually interesting about the book. Anyways, we're talking about Plesitheia. Plesitheia came forth through great Seth. Great Seth rejoiced over the gift given him by the incorruptible child. He took his seed from the virgin with the 4 breasts and established it with him in the 4 realms. in the third great luminary, Davythe. We're in a different section now. Sophia of Matter, Sakla, Nebruel, and Angels. There's a big skip. 5,000 years later.
Oh, yeah. That's quite the skip.
Jeez.
The great luminary Elileth said, "Let someone reign over chaos and Hades." You remember the Gospel of
Judas, yeah. But also, I mean,
over
also
chaos and Hades.
the Bible also has Hades, and there's the New Testament also has
Well, they
Hades.
pair these things.
Yeah, because it's just the realm of the dead for them.
Mhm.
Like, because like I said, we've had this conversation before.
I know
think.
that Hades is the realm of the chaos and Hades.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Paired together.
Yeah.
57. A cloud named Sophia of Matter appeared. Okay, this is more like the Vita of Life and Adam and Eve, right? I think.
Wait,
No.
sorry.
I'm thinking
I was
of
actually
something else.
thinking about
I'm
the life
thinking-
of Adam and Eve because of
I'm
what's going on in chat right
I'm
now.
thinking about the
Also, yeah.
the-
Look up the life of Adam and Eve. It is the text that the story in the
Iblis,
Quran is
yeah.
based off of.
Yeah, we read it. Go watch our episode.
And it's older than the Quran, and it also disagrees with the Quran.
Mhm.
So if we're talking about that specifically, please look into it.
Yeah, you should also look into the Hanifs.
I think Ruben
Sure,
read
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Really, everyone should look into the Hanifs. They were pre-Mohammedan, vaguely Abrahamic monotheists who preached a lot of the things that Muhammad preached and were active in the area prior to and during Muhammad's life.
So are you telling me that the book was a product of its time?
Yeah,
Like other holy books as well?
very
What?
much so.
That's
Oh my gosh.
wild.
But it's like, it wasn't even like an original idea in the locality that he was in, right?
Well, the thing is, like, Muhammad could have had his own, his own spin on it.
Well, yeah,
right?
he
But,
has
like-
his own spin on it. And I imagine that a lot of it, like the popularity of this stuff, probably to a great degree depended on how well they performed their oral poetry in public, right? Like,
True, yeah. That's
you
possible.
probably
I'm not sure about the poetic, culture of the area, but it might have something to do with that.
I mean, you can easily imagine there are some early Muslims who were like, wow, this guy spits bars. Right?
It's true, yeah. Like I know it was a thing in like ancient Greece, right?
Yes,
that
definitely.
very strict thing in ancient Greece. They had competitions for it. I'm not sure about like that part of the early Arab world, I guess. Either way,
Yeah, poetry and
Yes.
stuff was treated way more seriously at times in history.
yeah, it was, yeah, but I'm not sure about that specific region and time.
Fair.
So there's a bunch of breaks here. I'm just going to read it through.
Oh, great, okay.
A cloud named Sophia of Matter appeared. She surveyed the regions of chaos, and her face looked like, in her appearance, blood.
Ooh,
I actually like how the
how the
the
textual break there.
breaks worked there. Yeah, her face looked like, in her appearance, blood.
I'm sorry. Also, I also know Greek, buddy. Like I learned ancient Greek, my guy. Like I can read it in the have read it in the original language. If you go back to our, I actually have the Greek New Testament at my place, but
But you have the Greek Old Testament right next to you.
that's true. Yeah, right here. Oh, so yes, they are different languages. But yeah, here is a Greek Septuagint, and we have
Which
it.
you can kind of read.
Well, I mean, I can still read it. Yeah.
Not as well as the New Testament.
Well, it's still fine. But it's for some reason we were in Psalms, but
He
read
from
it for you.
plenty.
Yeah, gladly.
He read from it.
Gladly. How about we hop to, since I'm already on this page,
I don't
quick
care.
thing, right? Epistusa dio elalesa ego de atapenothen svodra. So what was it? Yeah, I believed I'm not sure what that word is. But yeah, so I have spoken, but I'm not actually sure what that means. I'd have to look at a translation.
What's
but
the term?
Hmm?
What's the term
for what?
that you don't know what it means?
Oh, how it's used here, Dio. Yeah. So it's not any variation of God or anything. Sometimes Dios was used later.
Yeah.
But yeah. But either way, like this is something I can read. I mean, I have to look at a lexicon, right? No one learns ancient Greek like that.
Yeah, they
Well,
do.
no, see, now you don't meet whatever specification. that
Right, yeah, of
he
course,
has
of course, of
Because
course.
you aren't this
Yeah, but like I could tell, like here's an aorist. There's another aorist. Like these things are. Yeah, this is legible. This is fine. And all I have to do is look at a lexicon and be able to put it together because I know how to put together those verbal forms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe I did. I probably did, right? Because there are a good amount of accents that I usually don't bother pronouncing unless it's like the difference between demos and demos, which would change the meaning. But either way, like I'm sure in pronunciation, I got a few mistakes. No big deal. No big deal.
Show's over. We got to stop now. You screwed up too
Pronunciation
hard.
is very important, which is why I like languages that you only pronounce things one way. Like in Japanese,
Oh, okay.
where it's always a, I, U, E, O. There's no variation. You are not getting any other vowel sounds.
Like what or ya?
You're not going to get it. Never going to happen. It doesn't exist in the language.
What?
There's no accents.
They say wow all the time.
I'll
though.
believe you
Yeah,
on that.
wa is it's just the W. It has a, right? Wa, a, I, U, E, O, right? Like what house you
Spent over 6 years in school. Yeah, okay. My fucking ass, my guy. So I have
I feel
at
like
least
he's just fake, but that's fine.
you're probably right.
But
Actually,
how would
You're probably right.
How would he
Fake
even
news.
criticize what you were
You're probably right.
reading when you were reading it off a page that you couldn't see?
well, sure, yeah.
Yep, a lot of things don't add up. Anyways, let's never.
But
talk
also, no,
about
it
him
doesn't.
again.
It doesn't like it takes years and years to perfect it. Sure, and that would be pronunciation, memorizing, all the lexicon and all potential grammar rules. There are like thousands of grammar rules. Like I have a copy of Smythe's Greek Grammar at my place, which I have to look through occasionally because I don't know it perfectly. But in school, they teach you the most common stuff that you'll see. They teach you your genitive absolutes. They teach you your accusative infinitive constructions. They teach you, your aorist, your subjunctives, your all your what's it called? Your conditional clauses, your optatives. They teach you all like the basic stuff and some variety of variations on them. And then they also note that, hey, you also get these other spellings in different texts as well, especially when it comes to the Septuagint, you get other spellings, but which is kind of annoying, honestly. But yeah, this is through Attic, Doric, Ionic. These are all variations that I have at least in some way learned, and I'm able to recognize that while I'm not able to point out, oh, here's a Doric variation of some word, I'm able to recognize that this is just a different variation about it.
Well, this is the dork variation of Lawrence.
Doric.
Dork. Yeah, you're a dork. Got
Okay,
it.
whatever.
Just really rub it in that you're a dork by.
Fair enough. Fine, whatever.
No, good learning. Otherwise, you couldn't do stuff.
The great angel Gamaliel spoke to the great Gabriel, the attendant of the great luminary Oriel, and said, "Let an angel appear to reign over chaos in Hades." The cloud agreed and produced two individuals. You remember this cloud is the material Sophia.
Yep. With blood.
Yep.
No,
Space is
the one with the blood, yeah.
Yeah. Agreed and produced two individuals. A little light, the angel she had produced in the cloud above. This is all broken up, and there's a footnote. Okay, the individuals are monads. Okay. Sakla, the great angel, observed Nebruel, the great demon, who is with him. If you remember, Nebuchadnezzar is Yaldabaoth, and Sakla and Yaldabaoth are separate entities within this cosmology.
Yeah.
And he's with them. Together, they brought a spirit of reproduction to the earth, and they produced angelic assistants. Sakla said to Nebuchadnezzar, the great demon, let 12 realms come into being in the break realm, worlds break. Through the will of the self-generated one, Sakla, the great angel said, 58. There shall be 7 in number. He said to the great angels, go, each of you, reign over your own world. And each of these 12 angels left. The first angel is a Thoth, whom the great generations of people call... Textual break.
Oh, my God. Great. Okay.
The second is Harmas, the eye of fire. The third is Galila. The fourth is Yobel. The fifth is Adonaios, who is called Sabaoth. Adonaios is also mentioned in the Secret Book of John, Second Discourse of the Great Seth, and the Gospel of Judas. The sixth is Cain, whom the great generations of people call the Son. The seventh is Abel. The eighth, Ekirasina. The ninth, Yobel. The 10th is Harmupael. The 11th is Arkir Adonin. The 12th is Belias. These are set
Is
over
that like,
Hades
is that
and
supposed to be
chaos.
close to like Belial or Beliar?
Belias, maybe.
I don't know,
Several
maybe.
of the names are restored from a similar list in the Secret Book of John.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
That would be our closest parallel.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, though. That's the end of the reading for today.
Oh, it is? Damn,
yeah.
I didn't even get the number right. Like 6 times. I've just not had the number right
You really
today.
screwed up.
I've been listening intently, like, not every time you tell me.
Also, I remember in...
It's not my fault the reading
Let's
is
talk about
screwed up.
Gnosticism. So Gnosticism isn't a Christian theology. I'm settled on that. They borrow some
Concepts.
icons from
some icons.
Judaism and from Christianity, but it is
Sufficiently different.
It's not a Christian or Judaic system by any means. They have a completely different cosmology.
Well, the thing is, they mix it with like Greek philosophies.
Yeah. So it's
more than the
completely
Bible does.
separate.
Okay, so it's like if Christianity was to Gnosticism, it would be as Sonichu is to Pikachu.
You know what?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's a fine parallel. I'm okay. with that.
They have an insane amount of lore. They both have an insane amount of lore. They both have different backstories entirely.
Yeah,
Apparently.
it was clearly based on the other. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, honestly, the Quran is more similar to the Bible than any Gnostic works are.
Yeah, that's well. The thing is, I mean, some Gnostic works.
Probably
I don't
Harry
know.
Potter is more similar to the Bible than most Gnostic works are.
Aside from sharing like the character of Christ.
Yeah,
And,
it's
then
not
Adam,
the
I guess.
same Christ either. It's a different character.
Right,
We
just
don't
with the same
talk
name.
about
They're
like
talking about
Jesus and his earthly mission, like the Gospel of Judas. I mean, that's one thing. It has Gnostic ideas. It's arguably not a part of the Sethian corpus.
Sure, yeah.
But that's all, man. Like,
No, like they borrow from each other occasionally and have shared concepts, but our ideas at their core for those shared concepts are not even the same.
yeah, they come to such dramatically different conclusions about literally everything.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't comparing Protestantism to Catholicism. Like,
Right, yeah, no, it's way more different than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They share a completely different like cosmology.
Yeah. So I would consider
A different
Gnosticism-
metaphysics entirely.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's influenced by Hermeticism. It's influenced. I mean, the Bible's a little, but it's really influenced by Hermeticism.
Hey, see if Chris, see if you can find okay, I know what you're doing. All right, just see if you can find like the Titty God shirt. Is that on there anywhere?
I can't. I can only find this shirt.
Okay,
you
someone
can-
bought the God tits.
Someone did. Someone did
Good,
buy that one.
good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of them. I can't find it. All I can find is this shirt.
There it is, right
fine,
there.
I'll add it as well.
Oh my God.
All right.
I'll add it. when I see it.
So we're gonna.
Now they're just everywhere.
Yep. There's gonna be a T-shirt for you to collect.
Uh-huh.
You guys, when the T-shirt comes up,
There's so
should
many.
come up in about 5 seconds.
Maybe.
You can select up to
You-
30.
you
You
can't-
selected 30?
You can't do any more.
That's all I can get, guys. I can't select any more to pin. I'm gonna pin.
You can
It'll
only do
pin them
one.
all. I can't. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyways, go click on that T-shirt and buy it. If you have any care for human beings in this world, or if you don't, and check us out on Patreon.
Oh, Wim, you missed quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that was wow.
Yeah, so well, first of all, Ruben is doing real person job stuff. Yeah, so he can't do the Fridays now. So
Yep.
we're doing Wednesdays.
Yep.
And the thing is, years ago, this would not have been funny, but now it is.
Now it is.
So it works, actually.
Yep.
Yeah,
Anyways,
worked out pretty well for us.
check us out on Patreon. Check out the Amazon wish list. If you haven't checked out the Discord, why haven't you? You should.
Yeah, you
Yep.
should. And if you want to have just to be clear here, if you want to have an actual conversation about Islam, it's best to have it there. And the reason I say that is because this is a live show, right? We
An
do a
educational.
reading, and we are far less concerned with arguing with dumb people in chat.
And
all
the
right?
one and only time we had a viewer call in, it didn't work out very well.
Yeah, that was something else.
Oh yeah, no, I talked to him.
You did,
afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's best to do it there if you want to have an actual conversation about it, because that's where you are actually going to get engagement. This isn't a show where we just argue with people in chat. Although, albeit today we kind of did.
That
Or
one was the most engagement for that level of stuff I've seen from you ever.
Yeah. Okay. So
try
if you
to
want to have an actual conversation about it, you can feel free to join the Discord.
But first,
go.
you have to study the Uthmanic redaction, and then you can have a conversation about it.
I mean, we always have people in there.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know if anyone's going to be in the voice
people
chat.
are in the voice chat more often than I expect.
You know,
I'm just on there on random days,
Tomer
and I go,
hangs out in the voice chat like every night.
yeah, really.
I
He's
don't know
usually
why.
doing like research and stuff.
Tomer, why are you hanging out in the voice chat?
He's explained it at one
He's usually
point.
doing the research.
Yeah, he just likes to hang out. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let him hang out. Thank you for hanging out, Tomer.
Right. Also, yeah, it's weird that the Nightbot isn't working. The link's in the description.
I am
Right.
encouraging Tomer to keep hanging out there, but I don't understand.
And you won't.
Either way.
Life's mysteries. Okay, thank you for joining us.
Yep.
We will
Thank you. We'll see
See
you
you
on Wednesday
Wednesday.
for some more of
this.
Four Tits.